Your car isn't a machine. It's a confession booth on wheels, and it doesn't even need you to speak. Think about it. You never sat down and told your vehicle where you go on Sundays, who you call on the drive home, or how many times you slam on the brakes after speeding through yellow. But it knows. Now, the scariest part is that it doesn't just know, it's reporting. When exactly did we agree to drive government informants? When did the open road turn into a network of surveillance terminals? In this video, we're peeling back the average smart car, from crash reporters and phone hoovering dashboards to cabin cameras and kill switches. You're gonna learn who your car's been whispering to, why it's happening, and how to reclaim some control. After 15 years in cybersecurity, I found no device more invasive than the modern car. Back when I still thought Elon might be a misunderstood genius and not, what he actually is, I bought a Tesla, and I loved it. The interface was slick, the autonomy was magic, and the acceleration made me feel like I was in a Bond movie until the reality slapped me in the face. First, the car knew my location every second. Okay, cool, GPS, everything has GPS, that's fine. Then I realized it logged what songs I played, how fast I drove, and how often I ignored its chirpy autopilot nags. Still kind of creepy, but tolerable at that point. Then came the camera, not the ones facing outside of the car, the ones inside the cabin, staring straight at my face. I thought those cameras didn't work and were waiting for the autonomous taxi services. I found out later that Tesla employees could see the footage. Some of them even shared private videos internally for laughs. They'd share garage clips, people tripping, and one poor dude walking up to his car naked. Reuters reported on this. That was my wake-up call. I hadn't bought a car, I had invited a data harvesting machine into my daily life and gave it keys. But it's not just high-tech Teslas. Today, almost every modern car, from a Honda Civic to a Ford F-150, is tracking, storing, and sharing way more than you think. And most people have no idea that it's even happening. What you think is just a Bluetooth connection or an innocent navigation sync is actually a permanent digital imprint of call logs, contacts, destinations, and even photos. They're stored and sometimes never deleted, often not encrypted. If this sounds like surveillance creep, it's because that's exactly what it is, and we're just getting started. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your car is less of a vehicle and more of a rolling surveillance tower, you just so happen to sit inside. We're talking sensor saturation at a level that would make your phone blush. Most people think their car might have a GPS or Bluetooth, but the modern vehicle, especially post-2018, is a full-stack data harvester packed with microphones, cameras, accelerometers, biometric scanners, and more antennas than a cell tower. Let's unpack the tech that's quietly watching, listening, and logging you. First, we have event data recorders. These are the black box that never stops. Almost every car sold in the US after 2014 and across the EU after 2022 has one of these. It's marketed as a crash reporter, but these black boxes capture speed, brake force, steering angle, seatbelt usage, and whether you were flooring it before impact. It's a 30-second time machine around any crash, 20 seconds before and 10 seconds after, constantly overwritten unless something triggers it. It's useful for investigation, sure, but here's the problem. They're always on and recording, and you don't opt in or ever get notified that this is happening. It's just logging you. Then there's the telematics units. These are the 4G narcs built into your dashboard. These aren't optional anymore. If you've got a car with a subscription service like OnStar, Toyota Connected, or Ford Sync, you've got a telematics unit, which is a dedicated modem broadcasting everything from your GPS coordinates to throttle position in real time. We're talking trip length, engine diagnostics, biometric seat sensors, cabin cameras, and often driver fatigue detection. Some even include facial recognition to personalize the experience. The Surveillance Tech Oversight Project found that cars transmit hundreds of data points per second back to manufacturers and their partners, all while you're just trying to go get tacos. And they don't ask or need to. You agreed to this in the 117-page terms of service that nobody reads. And here's where things get wildly invasive. Infotainment centers are the digital keylogger for your life. When you plug in your phone to play music or get directions, most modern infotainment systems don't just sync. They copy your contacts, messages, call logs, GPS history, calendar events, music libraries, and photos. Even worse, that data stays in the system after you disconnect. One study found that 4 out of 5 used cars still contain personal information from previous owners, including saved home addresses, contact names, text content, and even nude selfies auto-synced from cloud folders. In 2023, a security researcher retrieved social media messages and photos from an infotainment unit after it had been factory reset. Think of it like this. Your car's console is a USB stick you never knew you were handing to the next driver. Next, we have cabin cameras and microphones. And these are not just for autopilot anymore. They're marketed as safety features, and these tools can detect drowsiness, distractions, stress levels from facial tension, eye movements and head tilts, whether you're speaking, whether you're alone. And like we said in the story before, Tesla's internal cameras were recording footage, beaming it back to HQ, and employees shared the clips internally for their own entertainment. And before you ask, no, the footage was not encrypted, and the drivers didn't know that Tesla had it. The cars were simply watching. Now, I'm going to give you a second to take a guess about how much data is generated per hour per vehicle. The final snapshot is 25 gigabytes of data per hour per vehicle. That's how much information an average connected car generates. At US driving rates, that's nearly 20 terabytes of data per driver per year. At this point, driving is just feeding a machine with a detailed diary of your life, one that never forgets or deletes. Which begs the question, who's pulling the strings on your car's data, and what are they doing with it? So your car is bleeding data like a busted fire hydrant. Now ask yourself, where is all of that going, and who is profiting? Because spoiler, it's definitely not you. Let's trace the flow of this data and the horrifying number of hands that it passes through. First, we have the automaker, aka the first leak. Every trip you take, every voice command you mumble, every time you brake too hard, that's revenue. Manufacturers like GM, Toyota, Ford, and BMW don't just collect this information for your safety, they monetize it. GM was caught sharing OnStar data with insurance underwriters without any driver consent. Ford and Toyota openly partnered with data brokers to extract insights from connected car telemetry. BMW tested location-based ads on dashboards. Yes, they showed coupons while you were driving. There are in-house teams whose entire job is to package and sell your movement as a product. Next, we have insurance companies, the friendly face of algorithmic judgment. Have you ever heard of usage-based insurance? Things like Progressive Snapshot or Allstate DriveWise? They sound like tools for safe drivers, but they're actually surveillance discounts in disguise. Once you opt in, insurers track the time of day you drive, how often you brake hard, whether your phone is moving while the car is in motion, route patterns, speed, turns, and even lane changes. If you're bad, they raise your rates. If you don't opt in, you look suspicious and also get charged more. It's a lose-lose designed to make surveillance feel like a good idea. Then there's data brokers, the shadowy middlemen ruining the world. Names like Autonomo and Wajo don't mean much to the average driver, but they're central players in the car data economy. They aggregate movement data from tens of millions of cars and sell heat maps of foot traffic for retail developers, driving patterns for hedge fund analysts, patient profiles for advertisers, behavioral scores for financial underwriting. One of these companies boasts access to 50 million vehicles and 4.1 billion data points per day. That's basically every red light you ever hit up for auction. Then there's law enforcement, ICE, and the backdoor subpoenaing. Here's where things get really bleak. Because of outdated laws, the police don't need a warrant to pull your car's data from manufacturers or brokers. They just need a subpoena or a budget. ICE has used OnStar data to track and arrest undocumented immigrants. Police in multiple states have bought location trails from brokers without informing the courts. And surveillance firms now offer services to geolocate any car in the US if you've got the cash. Your car is a snitch with a radio connection. Then we have rental companies and dealerships, the data dumpster fire. If you've ever rented a car, there is a 60% chance you left behind your contacts, GPS history, call logs, and paired phone data. Some rental chains now offer infotainment scrubs, but most won't by default. The same goes with used cars. Over 80% of used vehicles still contain the last owner's private data. That includes garage codes, saved home addresses, and in multiple cases, nudes. Yes, actual personal photos pulled from infotainment backups by curious techs. So, why is this worse than you thought? Because it's not just that your data is being seen. It's being scored, sold, packaged, and used against you silently. Your car knows where you go, when you go, how you drive, who you're with, what you listen to, whether you're alone, and it tells everyone except you. But what happens when your car doesn't just watch, but acts on its own? Can your car be stopped remotely without your say? The short answer, yes. And starting in 2026, all new cars in the US will be required to include impaired driving prevention tech. It sounds harmless, right? But here's the real story. The system will be able to stop your car from driving if it thinks you're drunk. The tech is passive, and it'll monitor your driving behavior while you're in motion. And while it's not designed for remote control, the hardware will exist. If that doesn't raise red flags, let's just talk about stolen vehicle slowdown, already active in millions of cars via OnStar. With the right call, your engine speed gets throttled and your vehicle is disabled. It's extremely helpful when it's a thief, a little bit more dystopian when you consider protest suppression, digital curfews, and hackers breaking entire fleets with a malicious update. Once remote kill switch tech is in every car, all it takes is one system being abused or one being hacked, and then no one's driving anywhere. What can you actually do to reclaim privacy behind the wheel? Let's be real, you can't fully unplug a modern car without a crowbar and soldering iron, but you can fight back. Think of this not as paranoia hygiene, but as tactical resistance. We'll call it drive clean mode. Never, and I mean seriously, don't do these things. Don't pair your phone via Bluetooth or USB in rentals or test drive. Even a 5-minute sync can copy your contacts, call logs, and GPS history. Think of it like using someone else's laptop and forgetting to log out of your email. Don't text or navigate through the car's console unless you plan to wipe it later. Those voice-to-text commands get logged, indexed, and stored. Sometimes they're retrievable even after a factory reset. Don't enroll in Drive Safe and Save insurance programs unless you love being graded like a middle schooler. The discount is baked and the data is forever. It will never work out in your favor. Always, be sure to build these into your routine. Always perform a factory reset on your infotainment system before selling or trading in your car. If it doesn't give you the option, ask your dealer to do it and watch them do it. Always, scrub paired phones and data from rentals before and after driving. Most cars have a delete all devices option. Use it generously. Always physically cover cabin cameras with black safe or sliding covers. If that's illegal in your state, disable it in the settings and screenshot proof in case it reactivates remotely. And always ask your dealer or service shop what telematics programs are enabled and opt out of them if you can. Most people don't even realize that they can opt out. And here's a list of to-dos. These are some tools that will make it easier. First, download Privacy for Cars. It's the best free tool to guide you through wiping data from specific car models, including rentals. Also, encrypt your phone always. If your car grabs a chunk of it, at least make sure the data is worthless to anyone snooping. And disable Wi-Fi hotspot sharing from your phone when near vehicles. Some infotainment systems will auto-sync over Wi-Fi completely unprompted. You definitely need to make this mindset shift. If it's connected, it's collecting. Assume that every feature with a screen, mic, or sensor is harvesting your data. And assume that it never forgets unless you forcibly make it forget. That's not theism. That's how you stop handing over evidence with a smile. Your car is talking constantly, but not to you. It's whispering where you were last night, who you called on the way, what route you took when you were angry and needed to clear your head, what playlist you cried to, when you last went to that clinic, and it remembers what you forgot. It timestamps it and it attaches your name. The truth is, your car is the most invasive device in your life and almost no one realizes it. And this surveillance was slipped in silently. It was normalized through convenience. And even after 15 years in cybersecurity, I was shocked by how bad it really is. This video barely scratches the surface. If you want the full breakdown, the receipts, the architecture, and how to fight back, check out the Cyber Resistance Club. That's for sure all the information that would get censored here. Driving used to feel like an escape. Now it's just another data stream. But you don't have to panic. You don't have to ditch your car, but you do need to understand what you're sitting in and who it's reporting to. Because it's not just reporting your destination, it's recording your life. The open road was never supposed to feel like this. But if you're still breathing, still paying attention, you can still take a piece of it back.